This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
And welcome to the program. I am Roby Brock. This is Talk Business and Politics. We are joined this morning by Congressman Steve Womack. He represents the 3rd Congressional District in Arkansas. He's coming to us from Washington, D.C. As always, Congressman, we appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us. Let's begin with this.
It's my honor to be with you, Roby. Thank you.
Let's begin with this lame duck congressional session that you guys are in right now. I know there'll be a continuing resolution passed sometime between now and the end of the year. Anything else significant going to take place between now and the end of this session?
Well, we've still got a lot of things on the calendar that we need to dispose of, not the least of which is the continuing resolution that you speak of. And we have between now and the 9th of December to pass a funding bill that carries us further into the fiscal year. You know, our fiscal began October 1st, and we've got funding for the discretionary side of government up through the 9th of December. So sometime between now and then, we'll have to come up with a spending bill that carries us past the inauguration, and my guess would take us perhaps until the end of March, so that the new administration can come on board and that we can kind of synchronize our plans to begin the process of doing what was promised during the campaign and that what House Republicans are eager to get underway. So I'm looking at another continuing resolution beginning on the 10th of December and perhaps going through till about the 1st of April would be my guess.
Let's talk about another topic that you have taken a position on, and this is the Clean Line Energy Project. Starts in Oklahoma, cuts across North Arkansas, a big part of your district, heads over into the Tennessee Valley over there. This project has moved along some over the last couple of years, but with this administration change and some potential changes in terms of some of the regulatory agencies, are you wanting to see an end to this project? Are you wanting to see an alteration of this project? What's your end game here? What are the odds of this project moving forward?
Well, I have chosen not to kind of get down into the weeds of the debate about energy alternatives, as it were. My concern is and always has been the ability for a private concern to be able to partner with the federal government for the express purpose of taking private lands, by condemning private lands, using the power of the federal bureaucracy to enable somebody to take private lands. We can leave the debate about whether or not using Arkansas to take wind power from one side of the country to the other side of the country. We can leave that for another debate. My concern and the subject of the Approval Act that has passed committee in the House, still waiting for floor action in the House and of course in the Senate, simply says you got to get the approval of the legislature and the governor to be able to put a line across Arkansas like what has been proposed. And we are just totally against giving the power of private concerns to partner with the federal government for the express purpose of taking these private lands. And that's what Approval Act is all about.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to let you put that pamphlet back in your pocket there. We're going to be back with Congressman Steve Womack right after this word from our sponsor. I'm Roby Brock. Welcome back. This is Talk Business and Politics. We are with 3rd District Congressman Steve Womack. Congressman Womack, let's talk about some things that will happen after the first of the year in a Trump administration. Let's begin with something that's been talked about. We haven't seen material plans of this, but it does look like there will be a significant infrastructure program that will be put forth, maybe as high as $1 trillion. Do you support this type of investment and this type of spending?
Well, I support it so long as we can pay for it. And now keep in mind, we are getting very close to hitting the $20 trillion debt number. I mean, we were this morning at 19.9 when I looked on the debt clock. And so the last thing we want to do is to just be putting more and more on the credit card and handing that over to future generations. They're a little short on details as to exactly how this is going to be paid for, but I'm excited to know that there is at least some energy behind doing some of these infrastructure projects. You know, just speaking as a member of the 3rd District, we got several projects that we need to initiate and complete in our district, not the least of which is finishing 49 in the north, 49 in the south to include a bridge over the Arkansas River, the 412 bypass. So we have in the Arkansas River program. So we've got a lot of things that we need to spend money on. We just need to make sure that we're not doing it now and just burdening future generations with the debt. So public-private partnerships, tax incentives, the things that they're talking about that are the pay-fors in this program, I will be excited to see once we have a little bit more detail on the pay-fors.
All right, once we get some of that detail, we'll come back to you for some more positioning on that. Let's talk to you about a development middle of this week. President-elect Trump said, and he has been dealing with this ever since the election has ended, that there could be some potential conflicts of interest with his, Trump Incorporated and the Trump administration. He comes out on Wednesday and says basically that he is going to let his children take over his companies. He is going to step away from those. Still going to leave some questions about conflicts of interest. My question to you is, how are you going to feel certain that President Trump is going to make decisions that are in the country's best interest versus the best interest of his business entities?
Well, that's why the framers of our Constitution gave us the checks and balances with the three equal and separate branches of government. And look, Donald Trump is a smart man. He's got a bright family, very competent family. And so I don't think there's any unnecessary cause for alarm right now that right out of the box he's going to go to the White House and start doing things that are going to be that they're going to create conflicts of interest. The checks and balances are there. We need to give this man an opportunity to get his cabinet selected and get the powers of government functioning again so that we can actually move America in the direction that we said we needed to take it back before the election. To be distracted by a whole lot of what ifs, I don't think is a very constructive prospect right now. So let's give this man an opportunity to complete his selections, get them through the Senate. The Senate's got an enormous task with probably 1,000 confirmations that they're going to have to deal with. And then we've got the work of the country to get started on. So let's focus our energy in that direction.
All right, we'll do that. Last question for you here. President-elect Trump has been announcing some cabinet selections and some choices for advisors to him. Give me one that you feel like is the best pick that he's made so far, the one that you might be most excited about or one that you might have the most interest in.
Well, I'll give you a couple because they're colleagues of mine. They're friends of mine. One of them is a classmate of mine, Mike Pompeo, who's going to take the role as the director of the CIA. Mike is an accomplished guy, graduated first in his class at West Point, serves on the West Point Board of Visitors with me, so and close by too, Southeast Kansas. So Mike is competent. He'll do a great job over at CIA. And Tom Price, Dr. Tom Price, former orthopedic surgeon out of the Georgia area. Tom is going to direct HHS. He's got some strong ideas about how we reshape the healthcare agenda, and so I'm excited for both of those. They're colleagues of mine in the House. I have an enormous amount of confidence in their ability to lead their respective departments. For all of the others, I'm not going to rank them or handicap them or try to pick apart whether they're good or they're bad. Again, as I said before the break, we need to let this administration get its appointments made, get them confirmed, and let's get America moving again.
All right, Congressman Steve Womack. That Representative Price pick, by the way, and his strong views that you alluded to may be a whole other conversation for us to have at a later date. But I got to end it there. We're out of time. Thank you.
And Roby, we need to have that. We need to have that conversation. We need to have that conversation.
We will do it. I promise.
Look forward to it.
All right. Thank you for being with us this morning.